Hello everyone, we're back with 7th Lair. So I've spent like the past 4 hours today recording. And I'm on a bit of a time crunch. But I just made a quick meal. I gotta read more. Sorry. So anyway, it was revealed last time that actually Michelle is Scrooge and Morgana is the ghost of Christmas past. And present and future. And he committed suicide and the game would have spurred other people to also commit suicide. That's fun. And Giselle's dead. That's fun. New song. After we officially became a couple, my lifestyle changed a bit. I didn't plan to quit making games. I even felt like I was... Oh, Maria, right. I even felt like I was ready to make a good one. But I was also thinking about getting a real job. My intentions are good, but a 27-year-old with no reputable working experience couldn't just walk into a job in this world. So after some thought, I started working on a non-contracted job. What I chose was editing. This is probably because I felt a need to be a part of a creative process. I slacked when it came to updating Kingdom Heaven. Amy had teased me for being busy in the sack. That may have been true to some extent. Wait, what? But the biggest reason was that I was quite busy with work, and the next game I wanted to make was the big one. The trouble bringing my ideas into focus, but I wanted to make something Giselle would like. Going a step further, I wanted to base the game around her image. An illusory world that fit her captivating jade eyes. It made me okay to make a game for her alone. Like some authors wrote specifically for their wife or child, a game creator could do the same. That intention could be the very thing I needed as motivational force, but if you lose that motivational force. What I thought it was before was appearance or how the users would feel, but now I could only think of Giselle. It may take some time. But I felt like in 2013 I could make something good. You're a little late, dude. That Christmas I spent it with a lover for the first time in my life. Despite always having bagged on those stupid couples and their stupid relationships, being in that position now, I enjoyed it to the fullest and realized just how petty I was. To suit the season, many would reserve a fancy restaurant and maybe a lavish hotel afterwards. We decided to stay local, only eating at a slightly better place than usual, then relax with a movie we rented at home. So that's a Japanese thing, where Christmas is a more romantic holiday, rather than a more family-oriented one. I assume in France it's kind of the same way it's here in America, right? I assume? I like the movie The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Yeah, that's the musical that's on his page. She said she wanted to watch it with me. I didn't feel like it was a good one to watch as a couple, so we went with The Young Girls of Rochefort. This was a great movie. It scores from Michel Legrand. She enjoyed watching it the whole way through, and that made me happy. I sure had days like this would continue next year. All couples in love undoubtedly thought the same. You'd have to be truly twisted to think anything else during a special day like this. It wasn't until a month later. I think most of us are still in the New Year spirit. Sorry. The voice drenched in confusion, fear, and shock, she told me over the phone. Said I have cancer. Dang it! All that I could utter were perplexed grunts. Knowing what these words meant linguistically didn't mean I understood them. I was refusing to understand. I found something when I had a test not long ago. Wait, just hold on a minute. What is that even? She must have been terrified. She's the one in despair. She's the one trembling. I needed to be the strong one who'd say something to comfort her, but I was assailed by a sudden, limitless darkness, like all of the world had vanished. What set in next was panic. But I'll be having surgery. You'll be okay. Her voice was the one trying to console. Yet I was the one who needed to tell her it'd be okay. Right. It'll be okay. With modern medicine, it's not even a serious illness. That's right, I mean, look how shipshape I am right now. Yeah, that comes as a big shock. Let's be careful until you have your surgery. Get lots of sleep, eat well. Such a warrior. Her voice at the time didn't show a hint of sickness. It was the same as ever. While I could hear the shock and fear in her voice when she got the news, her body was as healthy as ever. It was nothing. Sorry, let me take a drink of water. After I ate my food, I remembered, oh yeah, there's ice cream in the fridge, so I had some ice cream. But now my throat's all frozen. Couldn't help but think that. I got brain freeze. Well, not anymore, but I couldn't help but wish it. All the while with the weight of cancer looming over us. Try to believe in modern medicine as if we were our savior. To start. Young people aren't supposed to have major illnesses. She's still 21. Having your life plagued by illness was something we're down the road. Even more so for life-threatening illnesses. I mean, come on. 21-year-olds don't die easily. Even if they did, it was such a low chance that it wasn't something that happened. Sure, all kinds of tearjerker stories and movies are made. Like those with the tragic parting between the protagonist and their lover, like this one. But we were normal people. So, I mean, none of it was real. Just completely unreal. Her first surgery went off without a hitch. Capitalized that H. As soon as she saw me run winded into the hospital room, she chuckled. See, you worry too much. Seeing her unchanged smile, a wave of relief from the bottom of my heart made me do the same. Right, I knew it wasn't a big deal. This is real. I let myself be enveloped by that relief. She was so energetic in the hospital room. She had all the sweets and food they brought her. There were others in the same room, looking pale, in terrible condition. Looking at them, all I could think was how glad I was she didn't turn out like that, no matter how awful that was. They looked like they weren't long for the world, but she was still in our world. The comparison was like night and day between them and her. When she was out of the hospital, we went to places we wanted to go. Some movies we wanted to see. I worked on games I had been kind of stuck on. With the crisp sunlight of winter shining on us through the window, we talked. Her forehead shone red with the sun's light. Apparently it has spread. Uh-oh. Huh? Things have been going so smoothly, and she hadn't been out for long. She brought it up with a painful grin like it wasn't a big deal. Hold on, I want to move the window. It seems like I'm spreading faster because I'm young. Does it work like that? But, well, can it work like that, I should say? It'll still be okay, right? It's going to be okay. That's surely what you wanted to know the most. Yet there I was, helplessly asking her the questions you wanted answers to. How pathetic of me. That's the one thing I shouldn't have done. Of course it'll be okay. I'll be out of the hospital temporarily, and I'll have to have surgery again, so things will get busy. As long as I have the surgery, I'll be as good as new. She smiled in the way she always did, and I believed in that smile. I had to. But as nervous as could be, it was my first time praying to a god. On the way home, on the train, constantly, I felt like some unknown assailant had my heart in his grip. It was a terrible waking nightmare. You gotta keep it together. What's wrong with you? Well, yeah, I know that. But I just don't know what to do, or how to even approach this. Just know I'll start thinking bad thoughts. She'll be okay though, right? I mean, she's so young. It's like some cruel joke. Keep it together, man, jeez. Looked around online and there's a lot of people who managed to get through it. Searching online, keep seeing that it spreads faster if you're young. Stop thinking negative, you big doofus. Whatever the illness is, what's important is how you feel. She's all smiles to make you feel better and stuff. But what she really wants is for you to say everything's gonna be okay. If you're not her support, then what the heck's she supposed to do? It's something only you can do. Just worry if I can actually. I get sick with worry when I see her face. I need to be the one to put her at ease. And I understand that's so hard it hurts. But I'm self-centered in the end. If she were to disappear, I'm not sure I could go on. Keep it together. I need to be the one to hold it together. I repeated that to myself each time I went to see her in the hospital. But that resolve always seems to crumble and fade the moment I saw her face. She was like a drying plant and I had no water to give. If I did, all I had was rotten, murky water. My performance was terrible. Must have been so easy to see us putting on a show. 1 month passed. That turned into 2. Tried to deny it as long as I could, but Giselle was getting thinner. Her cheeks in the strike winter sunlight. She didn't see the same life that they had before. As the surgeries continued, we kept saying to each other that it was fine, it was nothing. The next surgery is the last. She'll be out of the hospital in a jiffy. All in a direct contrast to the sickly tone her face was taking. And then, the announcement finally came. The surgeries can't keep up with the spread of her cancer. It was like tumbling down a steep hill. Neither of us had any idea that it would take a turn this fast, and no chance to even process what was happening. The feelings of despair came like pounding rain, relentlessly. We had no idea how to resist it. Well, there's no possible way to resist it anyway. What do you think about a song? Conversation had drifted to silence, which continued for some time. But she broke it with that question. A song? A theme song for Fairy House. If we have one, you can add it in with the next update. Felt like it was the first time in a while we had talked about games at all. Since she had fallen ill, I hadn't done anything to Kingdom Heaven. I hadn't even looked at the forums. Which is why Michelle just went absent for, I think it was a couple months. It felt odd yet melancholic to hear her even mention Fairy House. Why a song though? Giselle had been clutching my hand the whole time. Her grip felt weak, as if all life had drained from her fingertips. Those bony fingers grazed my hand, searching for a sense of security. I would have burst into tears if I wasn't careful. I want to leave something behind, but I don't have the talent or skills to actually make anything. So I thought that singing would be a good thing to do. I can't sing like a professional, but it's okay with you. I want to be a part of your game. Can I? That's... Still she was... Stop talking like that. You won't be here. You can do it anytime. After you get out of the hospital and get better, then you can sing. So it's not like you have to do it now. If we don't do it now, we may never have another chance. That's... No. I squeezed her hand. Her shockingly frail hand was as light as a feather. Her raspy voice had pleaded, "Please don't say that." I didn't want to hear that the end was near from her. Everything was going to be fine. Even with how fast it spread, medicine can help. My wishes were borderline delusional. Her voice in that moment was frailer than I thought possible from her lips. I don't want to be forgotten. Like a levee had broken, she burst into sobs. I know I need to sort out my emotions. I've been thinking a lot, and to make my death not be a burden on you. So it's better if you forget about me. I know that already. It's so painful to think my existence will fade from within you. It's so much harder than the physical pain and anguish I feel. She took a deep breath, as deep of a breath as she could after her outburst. I think it was the first time she had gotten so emotional with me. She had always been so considerate. She was the one who was sick, but she was always the one to smile and reassure me everything was fine. She was just being smart, thinking logically about what kind of future she had to leave for me. She didn't really feel that way. Obviously. It was so obvious, yet... I hated myself for being so helpless as to make her scream like that. So what was she saying, that she wanted to leave her voice in my game? She wanted to leave her mark on the world? It was for me. Forgetting would be so much worse. Running my fingers along hers, running my hair through her hair. Running my hair through her hair! No. Like always, she was there, and I felt her. But I had an impending sense that always was about to disappear. I blinked hard to shake the image from my mind. Blinking like that made the tears welling up in my eyes stream down my cheeks. What I couldn't hold back was now spilling out. At first, I thought it was a miracle. Even if I could relive my life again and again, there'd never be another like you. You accepted my games for what they are. Started wishing that you could have accepted all of me for what I was. And that came true. There'll be others who like your games for what they are. No, Giselle, that's not what I mean. I started wishing that it would be you. That it would be you who accepted all of me. It had to be you. That was just how it was. Your words, every one of them, they're what saved me. Both as a creator and as a man. Though I don't think you exactly knew you were saving me. I lived 27 years, never recognized by anyone. But like every corner I turned, there was someone telling me I was worthless. But that person who gave worth and meaning to my life? That person who expressed love for me. The person who before I realized was my everything. I could never forget her. Even attempting to forget would have been impossible. It wasn't some temporary impulse either. Pretty sure it was a sense of certainty that only someone who had been a creator for so long could feel. To create something, there needs to be motivation, a driving force. And it eluded me. She finally filled that hole instead. Her existence had affected me deeply. She is now the center of my life. Whatever may happen, she is now an impossible thing to remove. Till I grow old and die, my love will ever be you. I said it quickly, with her gasp between my breaths. She went quiet before trying to say something, but she again closed her mouth. I had a good idea of what she might have said, though. She wanted to tell me I was wrong. Now sure, she wanted to say it for my benefit. But I didn't want to hear that from her. I wanted her to understand I wasn't just saying this on an emotional impulse. After another long silence, she spoke again. It's like something from a storybook. She smiled somewhat jokingly. Like always, not quite. There were tears running down her trembling cheeks. We embraced to try and console our mutual despair. When our tears finally stopped, the sun was already low in the sky. Watching the fading sunlight out the window, I spoke again. What kind of song do you want to sing? Couldn't think of denying her request. Let's see, I think a gentle song would be nice. Like Ave Maria? As if she were perfectly calm, she answered in a voice I knew all too well. A gentle song. That vague way of putting it actually suited her. The lyrics? Can I think of them for a bit? I nodded. I think that's her saying that. It's the least I could do. The next day, I was supposed to record her singing. Couldn't sing in the hospital room, of course, so we used a grassy area outside to do it. She sat under the shade of a tree, held up the best voice recorder we could manage to get. Waited for her to begin. No, that's not. There's a repetition. Anyway, and a river, yeah, second. However you say it. And in the light that filtered onto her through the tree, she was beautiful, singing only above a whisper. She had no makeup on and wasn't dressed stylishly like when we went on walks. Her face had lost its colorful vitality and her hair seemed dry, without its usual sheen. But even still, she was absolutely beautiful. Would have been fine with time stopping forever. How are you going to make the song? I don't know anyone who can make music, so I'll do it myself. Do you know how? Never tried, but I'll do it. I'll do it just to show you that I can. And actually, Michelle is Yusuke as something. Wanted to make an amazing game, using you as my inspiration. I've always been a talentless as a creator. I always dwelled on this and that and get lost along the way. I think I'll end up making it a reality now. This is likely all I can do for you now. I didn't say that to her, though. I worked on the song constantly, almost without any sleep. I'd never made even a single song before. I didn't know how to use the software. Couldn't read music. Even in music class, my grades were the worst. Music isn't a world someone could delve into without any knowledge. But despite all that, I was compelled to. No idea what I was doing, so I repeatedly checked each command I input. I placed a note, then played it. It took me a whole day to make only 5 seconds of the song. While I worked, I would go to visit her in Leon as well. She started to worry about me as the lack of sleep showed on my face. Each day her condition seemed to worsen. I was gripped with the apprehension that I needed to work faster. That went on for about 10 days. It was a simple song, just a minute long. I had to put my heart into it. Thought it sounded nice, and once it was ready, I hurried to have her listen. She was almost brought to tears. I think it's beautiful. Those were her words. And then, on February 14th, the updated version of Fairy House was released. It was version 2.2, the one with Yon in the lyrics. I released it into the void of the internet. Wanted any and all that would listen to hear her voice. I loaded it onto a large free game site as well. Some other sites I'd overlooked until now. Wanted to get it out anywhere I could. The voice of a real fairy. And my creation. I wanted people to see it. Oh. I'm good. As for responses, there were some. The song sucks. How do you play this game? Couldn't do it. It's already in the trash. This isn't worth releasing. What is this, karaoke? Ha 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 ha. Why is there even a song? POS. Not even worth it for free. Hasn't he ever heard of mixing? Can you not delete the song? Pretty bad, pardon my French. How did I get my hopes up? Why did I think that everyone would somehow magically appreciate this? Where did that lofty idea ever come from? To think that strangers would understand what she and I had shared together. I was dreaming the whole time. Everything about the game was made according to my whims. So I think I understand Seven Lairs like theme now. Like, trying to figure out how to phrase it. Like, no matter what you write, or, post, or, create, people are going to interpret it differently. Which, you could take this from, this game you just made to the forum posts that the people posted. That's what anonymity does. There's a person behind everything. But their posts aren't necessarily, you know. Everything about the game was made according to my whims. No matter what course of events happened to make the song, nothing would get through to anyone. It fell flat. There were others, less harsh words. What stuck with me were only the negative opinions. My heart seemed to churn in pain each time I read on them. Because it also seemed like they were denouncing Giselle too along with me. My emotions inside seemed to swirl violently. Without knowing why, the strings of insults seemed to hammer into my skull. In that moment, I screamed through my rage-induced tears. How was it? Was there any reaction to it? With their eyes as full of hope as they're capable of, she asked me hesitantly. To that face? You lie. I couldn't possibly bring myself to tell her the truth. I couldn't tell her the heartless words I had seen. So, as convincing of a fake smile I could muster, I told her, everyone said it was really good. I'll never forget her unabashed smile in that moment. With the emotions inside me, black and bubbling like a festering wound, that didn't go away. Giselle, as if she had finished all that she had left to do, passed away a few days later. Like a dying flower, dropping its last petal, it happened so fast. Seemingly the instant the cancer had been discovered, she had disappeared from my side. You guys remember when this was just a fun Giselle dating game? I remember. I'd been emptied. It was now void within me, as if the root of everything inside me had been yanked up and discarded. The outer husk that was me seemed to be there and alive, but inside was nothing but darkness. No motivation to do anything. Quit the job I had finally started. I was in a daze, forgetting to eat and sleep. Started up my computer and Skype started automatically. But Skype? Well, 2013, right? Showing that I had messages from Emmy on. The icon flashed with a notification. Couldn't reply, even that was too difficult for me. I deleted the entire application from my computer. After that, about a month passed. The passage of time was more or less lost on me. Days and nights passed languidly in my dark, locked room. I opened my computer. That was the only instinct that seemed to still function. Took a look at Kingdom Heaven for the first time since she died. There's some posts on the forum from the regulars. Nothing about it felt like the old days. No new game yet, eh, Dark Dork? Are you gonna keep slacking your quack? Hurry up and give us something. One of the regulars. All I could do was give an empty chuckle. A new game? Even though I have nothing left? Even though I have no energy to even think? Even though if I release something, you'll just bash it as lame and boring? Even though you toss it right in your trash folder? Who are you to order me to make a game anyway? She's gone. She's the only reason I was going to make another game. Time to stop. Just stop. Stop everything. And if I'm unable to make anything, the being formerly known as a creator is finished. I can't even find value in the act of existing anymore. Even breathing felt heavy. Knowing I'll never look at it again, I motioned to close the site. Just then, noticed one of the comments. So what? Did he die or something? Ha 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 ha. Jacopo ruins everything. Once I saw that, I felt something immeasurably dark emerge inside me. I don't think it was rage towards that one particular poster. It was the retaliatory malice of a creator to every gamer out there. Something that should not have been. They were free of sin. So no. This did nothing wrong. Some players downright nice. But knowing that in my head did nothing. My emotions were now in control. That's why I replied. My mind had been made up and it couldn't be changed. I was no longer rational. It's as if I was possessed by a demon. I'll have a new release on April Fools. Why did I get the urge to do that? Did I just want to do something sinister to them? Did I want somebody to comprehend a single fraction of the loneliness and anger I was feeling? Did I want them to feel the same as I did? Did I want to crush their spirits as mine had been? What's about this song, by the way? Felt like all those hit the mark, yet missed completely. The only thing I knew for sure was this immense pain for one single man is far too heavy of a burden to bear. A putrid, pus-filled swamp of malice that had manifested inside me. It was growing. Oh. I wouldn't get better unless I could expel it. Well then, I needed to spit it out. Show it to them all. I only had one method of doing that. I was a creator. The only choice I had was to put hope and benevolence, hate and despair, all of it into one of my creations. Will you all laugh when you see this? You shower me with snide chuckles, insults, pity, or disgust. Will my despair pierce through you in a meaningful way? I wouldn't know how it would play out. I didn't need to know. It was already beneath me. I didn't care about any backlash. All I would do was release it. That's all. I ended up finishing on time and went through with releasing it. In a way, this was to be my last creation. Although I didn't know if it was something worth calling a creation. It was the malice of a creator. His despair and his madness all wrapped up into one. Oh, no, Michelle! A suicide documentary. I did enough to make it look like a game, desktop icon, what have you. I simulated it countless times, because I couldn't do a debug test. If I messed up anywhere along the way, it would all be for naught. Till April Fool's came, over and over, I practiced for how I was going to kill myself. For my last creation. Then April Fool's came. I had a single inkling that I could possibly fail. Despite being the type who has had a plethora of bugs in my games, this time of all times it would go flawlessly. There's an odd sense of comfort in that. I sat before the camera. I synced my computer up so I could post it immediately. Pressed my left arm firmly against my desk so it wouldn't slip. I raised the knife with enough force to possibly cleave out my wrist off. Brought it straight down. The pain was intense, so much so that I wanted to scream. So much so that I almost lost consciousness. If I did scream, and on the off chance someone barged in, this would end in failure. I bit on my lip to keep my voice low, but even then I groaned like a dying beast. Found myself thinking that it would be even more real to have at least some screaming. I used to making a build of a game. Could easily do it before I passed out. My dazed brain, slowly draining of blood, I lined up the video, compressed the file, and then I uploaded my final release to Kingdom Heaven. It was what I wanted. To unleash my spite. That was the truth. Do I keep going? Yeah, okay. If I can't finish it today, I'll just add it on with the rest tomorrow. Alright, I'll call it there and then. Well, how many achievements do I have left? Sorry, I cut the music. 2 left. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna call it there. Start a new one. Maybe I won't be able to finish it, but I gotta try. I gotta see what's at the end of this road. It'd be very nice, Morgana, if you gave us like a miracle where Michelle could live because he learned the meaning of friendship. Like, right now we're 1 for 1 with happy endings, right? Fata Morgana, happy ending. Requiem for Innocence, not so happy ending. So this is the tiebreaker. Please be a happy ending. I'll see you guys next time for what should be maybe the finale. Maybe not. See you guys then.